For Mrs. Tuesday Night! Next but not least, Mrs. Toy Newkirk! Next, Andres Jones! Mr. Danny Hassel! Ms. Joanne Willett. And last but not least, the very scary, the very legendary Mr. Robert Englund. All right, wow, look at you guys, a very, very handsome crowd. Guys on the stage, no please don't. We have 2 mics, so we're gonna share. Wow, first of all, welcome to the stage. Look at you guys, so many legends on one stage. The stage is not enough for us. Welcome to Germany.
Danke.
I killed them all.
That is correct.
And you're next, Dortmund.
Hopefully not. Alright guys, audience, remember if you have questions, hands up. But first I'm gonna ask some questions, alright? Guys, amazing, amazing franchise. Elm Street, that's a hot address recently, huh? Halloween weekend was just around the corner. Did you dress up? Did you go party? What was your costume? Mr. Robert, you first, you're holding the mic.
I was in the air, flying to see my fans here in Germany. So I missed Halloween, but I'll tell you something. In Southern California, our newspaper is the Los Angeles Times. And as I was packing and waiting for my car to take me to the airport, they delivered the newspaper. And the whole front section of the LA Times was a special report on Heather Langenkamp, my nemesis, one of my girls from Nightmare 1, 3, and 7, and she played Nancy, and it was a big article about her, and she does the special effects makeup now for the American Horror television show. So that was sort of the Halloween Nightmare on Elm Street vibe back in California.
That's pretty cool. And Joanne, what was your costume for Halloween?
So, I live in Atlanta now, and I dressed up as a French maid, and I wore my Freddy gloves, so I was kind of Freddy Krueger. that was
That's
what I
good, that's a good one.
Hey guys, I was a pirate. I have a brand new baby, so she's 1.5. She kind of gets Halloween now. So the whole family was a pirate. We had a wagon that was a boat, a pirate ship. It was really fun.
Oh really? That's
We
cute.
actually trick-or-treated, so it was
That's
fun.
cute.
Oh, and then Robert was just on the Goldbergs, and you know how those like crazy synchronicities. So it was 7 in the morning, and I'm watching Sam Rubin, and you were on an interview, and I had no idea that you were even there. So it was really cool. I love seeing like being kind of current because I'm looking and here he is here, but I just saw him on TV. So it was a lot of fun. Halloween's a great time of year for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Danke.
That's too many microphones.
Hi.
Very good at that.
Well, I was in Amsterdam for Halloween.
Ooh, what did
So
you do?
I just I parked myself in one of those windows with the red lights.
Of course.
No takers.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
You have to go to blue one.
Yeah, it should have been a blue light. Sorry. Yeah.
Toy?
I was on an airplane coming here, and so I think I was playing a passenger, sleeping. And yeah, I was anxiously wanting to come this way, and I couldn't wait to get to Germany to meet everyone.
Is that the first time in Germany for you?
First time in Germany. Yesterday we went to Dortmund and we toured around, and there was just like, I drank hot wine and so much beer, and I woke up this morning, I was like, can I have more? Yeah!
My story's so boring. I didn't dress up.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't. I just stayed home and gave candy out.
That's good, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good. Thank you very much for that.
I thought that some of you spent Halloween in Hollywood with our other castmate, Lisa Wilcox. Oh, well, it was on the 29th, sorry.
All right. So
Yes.
there was a party.
Yeah, she's got a new film, Chastity Blade. Old film being reshown there. Anyway, have you seen Chastity Blade? Yay, Lisa Wilcox.
Joanna just moved to Atlanta, and I don't know if you guys know it or not, but Atlanta is like the new Hollywood, and it's where they make Walking Dead. So isn't it obligatory that you have to dress as a zombie for Halloween?
I know. I should have been the French zombie. Frida.
French zombie.
The French zombie maid, sexy but dead.
With a love of baguettes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm pretty sure that the audience has a lot of questions, so please raise your hand, and lovely Eureka will help you out. Please remember to hold your microphone like this. Perfect. And we can have it working, please.
Hashtag okay. Mr. Englund, did you count how many people you killed in your movies?
I don't really have a body count because Freddy's dead. Freddy's dead from the get-go, so he's killing people in their dreams. If you really paid a lot of attention to Nightmare 1, when the movie ends, it's really just beginning. That the entire movie is Heather's precognitive dream about what's going to happen to her friends, because at the end of the movie they're all alive, picking her up to go to school, and the first kill is really the mother getting sucked through the door. Well, there's going to be a quiz later, Toy.
There's a lecture later on the struggle. Just jokes. All right, that's a good question. Another one? Hello.
Hi guys, it's good man.
Hi.
My question is from Batman as well. We have such a long acting many. Oh, wait. Can you hear me now? You ready? My question is from Mr. Acton once again. What I love so much about Freddy Krueger, that there is some kind of acting even. Normally if you got a bad spirit or something in a movie, this guy comes jumping out of the car, killing you, you see a lot of blood, and that's it. Now this was the ordinary Mr. Krueger. Mr. Krueger always needed to entertain people. That's personal entertainer. So this killing size means a lot of work behind for the proper stage, behind the stage. For the makeup, for the costumes, etc. people. Now, since Avatar, a lot of has changed. You can create whole new worlds, you can create many monsters through the techniques. Has this changed, this kind of acting, because now you can concentrate more on your role? Or do you sometimes miss the old times?
Can you help me a little bit with the
Yeah.
question?
So to make it a little bit shorter, is because your way of killing changed, because you were just killing in the real world and the dreams, but then you started to create in the world the monsters to kill. Did your acting changed as well? Or and the question was, do you miss the old times, just like regular old killing?
Freddy enjoys his work. He's an equal opportunity killer. You know, he doesn't care if you have a hearing aid, he doesn't care what your gender is, and he enjoys his work. And the thing you have to remember is that Freddy inhabits your subconscious, so he knows your secret fears. He knows what's in your diary. He knows what's in your underwear drawer, what you're hiding from your mummy and daddy. And he exploits that, and I think that was the fun thing to play. He's kind of throwing youth culture back in his victim's face before he does away with them.
Nice, thank you very much. Another question?
A question for Robert.
Okay, but then I get a break after this question. Somebody talk to Danny. Yeah, go ahead.
Ciao, Robert. What's your Italian favorite movie?
My favorite Italian
Yes.
film?
Yes.
Well, my favorite Italian horror film is Suspiria, Dario Argento. And I can't wait to go home and watch the new one. I'm very anxious to see the new one. I'm a big fan of Tilda Swinton. And I understand that they use modern dance as kind of a metaphor for witches in the new Suspiria. But my favorite Italian film actually is called Night of the Shooting Stars. And it's about one village in World War II and the divide of sympathies. But the thing I love about it most is there's an old couple in it and that falls in love. And I think it's just wonderful to see, you know, old people fall in love because so often they're pushed to the side in films. But it's a wonderful film by the Taviani brothers called Night of the Shooting Stars.
Thank you very much. Guys, do you have your favorite Italian movies? Danny?
Danny likes hot licks and patent leather.
Exactly. That was it.
Do you
The
enjoy?
only film I actually did a documentary about the Italian army. So the only movies I like are the movies that I'm in.
Of course. And you never had the chance to be in an Italian movie, that's the reason.
Well, there was a documentary about it.
Yeah, there's a documentary, alright. Ladies, do you have any favorite Italian movie? Italian movie?
What is it? Cinema Paradise? Is that?
I like Suspiria too. That's a great film.
Yeah.
That would have to be my favorite one.
That is a good one. And they made a new one as well as...
Yeah, I want to see it too.
Yeah. Are we all going to cinema to see Suspiria, guys?
Yes.
Anybody can arrange tickets, movie tickets for tomorrow? Alright guys, another question from the audience. Where are we looking at? There. Can we get the mic working, please?
Yes. Hi, I have a question for all of you. What's your personal favorite installment of the franchise, and what did you think about the remake from 2010?
What is the first part of the question, please?
What's your favorite installment of the franchise? Or which movie?
Oh, okay, which movie? Alright,
Yeah.
got it. Alright, let's...
Oh my gosh, that's hard. God, I don't know. I can't even choose. I don't know. I like so many. I don't know.
One by one.
You know, I still like Nightmare on Elm Street 1, and in particular, I love Amanda's death, Tina. It's just something really remarkable about it, and how she keeps being dragged around the school. It's just a prolonged death of Tina, and that has always been my favorite, and I think it will always be my favorite Nightmare 1.
Well, it gets me in a little bit of trouble with my castmates, but I'm a big fan of Nightmare 3. I love the sort of the Ray Harryhausen kind of effects, and I love that nun. Her speech about Freddy, I think, is one of my favorite things in it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Nightmare 3.
We can live with that.
No offense, but you know, it's got Rodney and Ken in it, so that's good.
Danny?
I hands down, it's number 1 and number 4. I can't stand number. Have you ever seen some of the rock videos? I love 1 and 4. Yes, I love 5 too, but people, it's underrated. But number 3, I saw this rock video, and it was really bad. I'm just being honest. I love the movie. I love the whole franchise. Come on. But number 3 is some of those rock videos. Really nice.
Joanne?
So I like number 1. I loved it. I was on a TV show with Heather Langenkamp, and she played my big sister. So we used to make Heather go around and scream, just because she could scream so well. Because Nightmare 1 scared all of us, and I loved Amanda's death too. And Heather was so wonderful in that, and Robert was amazing. So that was my favorite.
Actually, I've had this question before, and I've done a lot of thinking about it. I think the fan favorite, if you took a vote, if you took a poll, is probably Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. I think My favorite performance of mine is part 4, because Rennie left me alone and I got to physicalize him more. I got to kind of almost dance Freddy a little bit. He was kind of reptilian. My favorite movie of the franchise is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And I'm not just saying that because we've lost Wes, but that's actually the one that's most from Wes's heart. It's the purest version of how Wes wanted to be both smart and scary. And it's also one of the movies in the franchise you can watch over and over again and find new things in it. Particularly the opening of part 7 with Heather Langenkamp going to visit the actor playing her special effects husband on Wes Craven's set. You watch it very carefully. Watch how Heather's wardrobe morphs, and you'll see the dividing line between reality and illusion. Part 1 is obviously a groundbreaking film, and it's the scariest. But all I remember about part 1 was we ran out of money and had to sell all the video rights to England.
Part 1 is hands down the scariest. I agree. I didn't even like it. I was like, oh, I'm watching that. Scary. Weird.
That is great. All right, thank you for a question. Another one, please.
Good morning, so people interested in movie. I have a question regarding your personal preferences. The very first Nightmare on Elm Street was a straight, surreal, frightening horror film. And in the following, it got more and more jokey, humorous. And what is your personal preference if you see a horror film, or even if you would be asked to write a horror film? Do you prefer more the serious, frightening ones, or more the joking, not all too serious ones?
Well, we'll all answer this, but I'll start. There's a subgenre right now of horror, and it is horror comedy, just like there's a subgenre in the science fiction and the superhero movies. But I don't want to live in a world without Evil Dead, and I don't want to live in a world without Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't want to live in a world without Deadpool. And the original Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy cuts his fingers off and cracks a joke. Freddy takes Amanda's face, Tina's face, and wears it like a mask. Freddy sticks his tongue out of a phone. There's an awful lot of Freddy's sense of humor all through part 1. We exploited it, yes. The problem was, and this is a filmmaker's piece of knowledge, but a lot of scenes that I had, we ended them 2 ways. We ended them very dark and violent, and sometimes they would also give me a wisecrack. Then it was up to the editor to choose. It's called dealer's choice. And the editors over-relied on the Freddy one-liners, because the one-liners naturally give a scene a kind of rim shot, a kind of percussion point, so that they can end on it. So Freddy cracks a joke and they can cut out of the joke. The audience laughs and you cut to the next scene. But we also had alternatives, and it was the responsibility of the editor. If I could go back in time, if I was king of Hollywood or New Line Cinema, there's a couple of the segments that I would have changed. With Kenny Sagos in the junkyard, we shot that one, and I gave him a kind of Al Pacino, Godfather, kiss of death. And that was it. I just took Kenny and I kissed him. And it's an echo of my kiss to Toy. But it killed it, but it was without the effect. He was already had my claw in him. And he just sort of dragged down my body and died. And then they did another one where I did the one-liner there, the joke, the quip. And just too often the editors, I think, were rushed and relied on the Freddy joke at the end of the sequence. whereas some of those choices could have been left with a dark option. But there's plenty of room for horror comedy, and Sam Raimi, and Bruce Campbell, and Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, after seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, it's hard for me to watch a superhero movie again, because it had so much fun with them, because they were taking themselves a little too seriously. It's very similar to what happened in the 70s with rock and roll. Got a little too pompous and a little too self-important with the supergroups, and we got punk rock, which had to rip the rug out from under the supergroups. And Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, and Fido all went falling to the ground. Okay, now you guys talk about the franchise.
I'll go. I think that's a great question, because in Nightmare 1, Robert was incredibly scary, and he had a lot of scenes. It was in the dark. And by the time I came on the scene in Nightmare 4, because Nightmare 3 was extremely successful and this arc started happening. But I think when I got to Nightmare 4, the audience actually wanted to see more Robert in the daytime. That was, I think, the first time you ever even saw Robert in the day before death scene. So it was when I actually went to the movies to watch it, people were really anticipating those one-liners and the comedy, jokey. So Nightmare 4 was a lot of fun, I guess, compared to the dark, evil thing. So we were fortunate enough to be in a franchise that did both. It started with the super scary, freaky, get you in your dreams concept, all the way to where Robert became the character. I mean, Freddy.
But Freddy always was a cruel clown. He was always a jester, a cruel clown.
Anyone else?
Guys, what do you prefer? Scary movies or horror with a comedy twist?
I like comedy with a horrific twist.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like political satire, like things like you ever see the film Bob Roberts, Tim Robbins' first film? He plays a political folk singer, a very scary political folk singer. That's scary. Yeah. The the real world is the most terrifying thing I can think of. So yeah, I like that. I like to be able to laugh at that. Yeah.
But even in a film like Silence of the Lambs, what do we remember from that movie?
Fava beans.
Fava beans and a nice Chianti. We remember the joke, and why? Because when you have humor in horror, you get a nervous tension release. When you laugh in a horror movie, you release that tension, and it enables the director, the filmmaker, and the cast to set you up again for yet another scare. If you're just watching relentless horror with no break in it or release of the tension, you start to laugh at the movie instead of with the movie. Toy's giving that microphone away like it's a hot potato.
I think that the first one was really scary, but I think that the interesting thing about it, of course, is the progression. But I think that Freddy is to me, is a very sexy, funny, scary. I think he combines it all into one, and I think it's really amazing that he can do that. I like that the best.
Yeah, sure. Guys, unfortunately, that's the all time we have. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Just one, but very quick. Microphone, please. Yellow mic.
Can I get a mic? Okay. Thank you for coming for Germany. And my question is, what's the favorite kill in the entire franchise? What's the favorite kill?
Well, we do it one by one.
One by one.
Toy, tell me.
My favorite kill is I love kissing Robert. It was the most amazing. It's the first time I ever kissed anyone on screen, and I'm so honored that it was him. So, yeah.
We'll talk later, Toy.
Tuesday, what is your favorite kill?
I have to say that it's Amanda in one. I think that's a terrifying death. It just keeps going on and on.
Andres?
Well, just because no one else would say this, my own. My own. I think Robert was sick that day, so he couldn't show up. So it was just all me and Steve Feuerberg, the DP, dancing back and forth. But it's been a much maligned scene, but I stand by it.
There you go.
Fair enough. Danny?
I like all the special effects ones from 4 to 5, and actually 3, 4, and 5. There's so many special effects going on. I guess Rodney Eastman's death in the water red. I love that one. And the cockroach thing is just crazy. It's crazy. Right. I love it.
It's very Kafka.
Joanne?
No, I love Amanda's death. You know, I was just so scared. The crawling around and you never saw anything like that. It still scares me. That is really
Yeah, Tina on the ceiling is very disorienting, but my favorite kill, because it's so politically incorrect and it's so perfectly Freddy, is Carlos in part 6, Freddy's Dead, with his hearing aid and Freddy pumping up the volume. You can hear a pin drop.
Thank you so much, guys. Give a round of applause for the cast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Come on, guys, you can do better.